Hello and welcome back to AnimeAnalysis. It's the time to do one of these things, because these things look so much fun and I've seen them all over the place and I decided to do one. So this is the anime manga villains tier list maker, or just the anime one pretty much, because I haven't read any manga past any period of any anime. That's just how it is. I've already got a whole column I went through. Haven't seen. It's a big chunk, but if you see your favorite character in here, I'll scroll down so you can see all of them. If you see your favorite character on this list, I'm getting there. There are a few One Piece villains on here that I recognize, but I haven't seen enough of because I'm working through One Piece, so things like that. Sorry if that's something that happens. Like Doflamingo I know is a One Piece villain, but I haven't seen enough of him. I saw like one scene of him as it, so stuff like that. But these are all the ones I'm going to be ranking. There's about 15 or 20 of them. I'm going to... Let's see. Is there a way I can efficiently do this? I guess I'll just have to scroll up and down. No big deal. You know what? It's going to be hard to drag and drop while I scroll up and down. What we're going to do instead is we're going to move this up to the top of the list, and then I can just focus on these down here. Look at that. Perfect. I should have started with that. Anyway, we're going to get things started. So I want to start, obviously, just from here all the way to the end. Madara Uchiha is an S. All right, listen. Here's why Madara is an S. Madara was extremely well written. He was extremely powerful. He was extremely cool. And there were just so many things about Madara that I really, really appreciated. There were a lot of great things they did with him. There was a little bit of a flop at the end where I really didn't like how they treated him right at the end before he died. But otherwise, I think it was really great. Madara was one of those guys you always thought was super cool. You had that one scene where he first appears and he tears through groups and groups of shinobi before they can even touch him. It was great. He's by far the strongest Uchiha besides Sasuke now, but at the time he was the strongest Uchiha, and it was great. Another S tier is coming up next. You guys know, Hisoka is probably my favorite villain of all time. He is incredible. There are so many things about Hisoka that just get you so hyped. Because the thing is, he's a villain, right? But even though he's a villain, it doesn't matter. Like, and a lot of people might say he's actually a rival and not a villain, and a true villain is Miriam, who we're going to get to later. I think Hisoka is one of those guys that you just can't get enough of because they just do so many great things. That's what I have to say about it. So continuing on, Orochimaru, or at least I hope this is Orochimaru. This is hard to tell. But this looks to me like Orochimaru, so I'm going to say it's Orochimaru. I'm going to give Orochimaru an A. I might move him to a B. He was very well written. He was a good villain, but there was never that big payoff moment. You know what I mean? We didn't get to see Naruto annihilate Orochimaru. Or at least somebody who should annihilate Orochimaru, like Jiraiya or Tsunade, didn't get to do that, right? Like, they fought with him once, but we didn't get to see the real payoff moment where we knew about all their history together, and then they go and they punished him, they take him out for all that he's done to the Leaf. Now, he's on the Leaf side now, so it's a little bit different, but, there was never that big moment, and I think that's what hurts a lot of the things, because he was a good villain, he was well written, and then, like, Sasuke kills him out of nowhere, which I guess we knew would happen, but it wasn't a big battle that happened in the first place, so it didn't really make it all that great, so... That's what I have to say about that. But I really do like Orochimaru as a villain. I think he's really well done. I'm okay with it. I wish that they did a little bit better and did a little bit more with him. That's what I would say. So Miriam's next. And Miriam's an S tier. No question. All right, look. Miriam is, in my opinion, when you think about compared to any world that he's in, Miriam is the strongest villain of any anime world, period. That is a hot take you can quote me on for years. Strongest villain in perspective with his world. Now, we talk about the fact that we haven't seen people like Jing, for example, use his nen, and maybe he could be stronger than Miriam. Or what about Gon-san? You see, that's a really strong power that a lot of people said, I think it was Neferpito who said it rivaled Miriam. But, we don't know this for sure. We don't know if Gon's power would have been able to do that. We don't know about it at all. Because we never got to see that moment. And a lot of times this is where, like, I'm talking with Orochimaru, where there's no big payoff moment. There was still a big payoff moment with Miriam against Netero. Not to mention, there was that great story enveloped in Miriam where He would die playing that game that he played. I'm really sorry, I don't remember the game, but you know, and there was just really great writing behind it, where he figured out who he was, and he didn't want to be some chimera ant king, and instead decided not to be violent anymore, and then he died, and it was really well put together. Despite the fact that we didn't get to see a huge battle between him and Gon, it had to be what it had to be. Crollo from Hunter x Hunter. So there's a lot of Hunter x Hunter guys on here. He probably is really cool, right? But I don't care. I haven't seen anything at all. Leader of the Phantom Troop. Good villain. When you think about the fact that he is intimidating. That's it. That's it. There's nothing else more for him. Because they haven't had time to do anything. We haven't seen Hisoka fight him, which we know is going to happen eventually. And because we haven't seen that, we don't know. Simple as that. We do not know. So, we'll have to go with that. Akashi Sejiro from Kuroko's Basketball, which is one of my personal favorite anime, honestly. I'm a big fan of it. I'm a big basketball fan. That's part of the reason why. And I'm going to give him a C here with Crollo. I really liked him. I liked what they did. But I hate the fact that they saved him for last. Kuroko's Basketball, not to give you any spoilers, but there's this dude named Almin, who in my opinion is way better than Akashi, and it would have been way better if they ended the series against Almin. Was I still a fan of the show and still a fan of the way they did things? Yeah. But Almin was way better in my opinion. Akashi, not so much. So I would give it to Almin. And he's not on this list. They didn't put him in there, but they put Akashi in there. So Akashi will get a C, I'll say. We've got Illumi from Hunter x Hunter. And Illumi is, of course, Killua's brother. And he's also going to get a C. Intimidating, all that good stuff. But we haven't seen him do anything other than talk to Hisoka. And they've got some shady business they've been doing for quite a while and all that craziness. And that's it. That's all we know. Simple as that. I didn't know that this one was on here. James from Pokemon is on this list. Okay. We gotta talk, alright? Because James is obviously... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, let's not even discuss it. We understand. You know, I grew up watching Pokemon as a kid. And I'm sure I absolutely love the whole Team Rocket speech and all that. But you can't tell me Team Rocket are good villains when they lose every single time. They have never won a single time. No, it's not going to work. I see Jesse's in here too. We're going to give Jesse an F as well. F for female, or I guess. Who's that again? Oh, Shigaraki Tomura from My Hero Academia. Good villain. The main villain of the series, in my opinion. He has been terrific so far. I loved him in Season 1. I loved him in Season 3. Season 2, there wasn't that much of him. I was a big fan. I'm a big fan of the way his quirk works. I'm a big fan of seeing him against Midoriya. The only problem is that if he fights Deku, how does Deku not get disintegrated? But, like, this is a fight that has to happen. Like, I think everybody agrees that it's got to happen. It's going to happen. Because these two are just eye to eye with each other. But Deku's thing is that he wants to save people. He doesn't want to beat people. He wants to save them. That's what he did with... that's what he did. Sorry, I'm yawning. That's what he did with Todoroki. And he changed Todoroki's life and he saved him. That's his goal. He's not out there to win. He's not out there for the glory. He's out there to save people. And that's why I think if he fights Shigaraki, it beats some sense into him and get him over on the other side. He's more of a rival to Deku when you think about it, if he ends up switching sides. But Tomura Shigaraki I really like. He's been good. My Hero Academia so far is a very short series. So he's just going to get a B for now. That can grow. That can definitely grow. Hendrickson from Full Metal Alchemist. Hendrickson from the Seven Deadly Sins. Hendrickson was pretty good. He was pretty good. The reason why I don't jump to immediately putting him in an A or an S is because he's not on the villain side anymore. He was really good in Season 1. but we didn't get that much of him. You know, the whole course of season 1 was a little bit slow, where it was first about getting the all 7 deadly sins together, in which they only got 5 and then happened to come across Merlin on accident. And then Elizabeth got kidnapped, which wasn't even done by Hendrickson, and then they went from there, right? Hendrickson was good. I liked him. I wouldn't say he's amazing. I'm going to put him at a B. I think that fits Hendrickson. And, you know, a great villain in the 7 Deadly Sins, a.k.a. Esterosa, would maybe go a little bit higher. Or who's another... he's the most iconic commandment they fought. Yeah, I'd put him in there, I'd say. Zeldris... What's his name? Zareth from Fairy Tail. Zareth is a D. Listen, I'll be honest with you guys, okay? I stopped watching Fairy Tail. The first 48 episodes of Fairy Tail, it was like 3 or 4 arcs, were really good. And it really pulled me in, and I love the show so much. And then after that, they kept doing these random one-off things that didn't change the plot of the story whatsoever. The characters never changed. People never died. Nothing ever changed. The show was the same. You could literally skip an arc and still understand what's going on because nothing would change between arcs. Sometimes they would introduce a new character here and there, but like even then, it's like you could have skipped it. It didn't matter. I heard that some recent stuff has been really good. Maybe I'll try and get back into it, but for now, that's it. And Zareth, from what I've seen of Zareth, because I did watch on after episode 48, and I got to like maybe 100 or something, and I got to see some of Zareth, and I don't get it. So he's not my thing. Hero Killer Stain is a B. We haven't had as much of Hero Killer Stain as we have of Tomura Shigaraki. We won't because of the fact that Hero Killer Stain is done. But for the 5 or 6 episodes that he reigned, he was so good, man. I loved him. He was very, very impressive. There were so many good things about him. There were so many good things they did with him. And there was a great fight between Ida, Deku, and Todoroki against him. And he changed the way everybody thought about heroes and hero society. He's really important. Extremely important. So that's another reason why he gets a B. His importance. I mean, literally, because All Might's gone now, he's ready. He knows exactly... Because All Might's gone now, he's pretty much changed the world, is what I meant to say. He's brought that up. And, man, I mean, his ideology is something that people are going to remember forever, even though that he's only been there. He was only there for 5 or 6 episodes. I think that's wild when you think about it. What was her name again? Isabella from The Promised Neverland. So, I want to give her a C. So, unlike all these other villains in here, besides Akashi, these guys are all violent villains in battle shonens, right? And so, Isabella, The Promised Neverland is not a battle shonen. It's a shonen, but it's not a battle shonen. Isabella was terrible. She was, and by terrible I mean she was a really good villain. But there's no like power level or there's no like big payoff fight or anything like that. You know what? No. I give her a B. The thing is with Isabella is that she in truth was a loving mother. She knew that she was going to die if she didn't give those kids to the demons so that they could eat them. Okay? And I'm talking about a show here. This is an actual show that happened if you don't know what I'm talking about. The Promised Neverland is literally a bunch of kids on a farm, feed them, they raise them and they feed them to demons. And so Isabella loved all of those kids and she was thrown into a case where if they escaped, she would die, right? So that was the problem there. And so the big moment with Isabella that made me put her actually at a B was when she forcefully broke Emma's leg because Emma tried to escape. Like, that is so messed up, dude. Where you take an 11-year-old and you literally snap her leg like it's a stick or something, like nothing, and be completely fine with the fact that happened just so she doesn't escape. I mean, it was wild. So she'll get a B. Esterosa. I think we need some more A's, and Esterosa fits that. I think I would give Esterosa an A. I think I would. Esterosa, even though it took them so long to introduce him, when he killed Meliodas, He was incredible, man. That's when you were so drawn in. And then his fight, Esterosa versus Escanor. That's exactly what you want. I mean, that was incredible. I'm all for that. I have no problem with that. That was a very, very, very good fight. He's a good character. He's very well written. And there's a lot more coming soon with him. I'm completely fine with putting Esterosa where I did at A. I don't think this is anything that's up for debate. I know a lot of people really like him. They want him in an S. Maybe some people might not like him. They'll put him in a C. It can happen. Who is this guy? This guy's from My Hero Academia. I know he is. And we've seen him a couple times. I don't think we've seen him do anything. So that is my apologies. I'm going to put him up here. So, I'm going to act like that didn't happen. Why is Stain in here twice? I'm not sure why Stain's in here twice. We're going to put him up there too. Okay. All for One is an A. One of the strongest beings in any given universe. All right. The reason why All for One is an A is because we didn't get nearly as much All for One as we needed, man. Not nearly as much. Although I do believe that Deku probably will fight him one day. I think so. I think he'll break out of prison. And All Might can't fight him, so Deku's going to have to. I think that's going to happen. So All for One really had a great introductory moment where they played that music. You know, I mean, you guys know the scene I'm talking about, and it was great. And his fight against All Might was great, but it wasn't even the best fight that season, in my opinion. Well hyped up, well put together. We knew what to expect, and we got way more than we expected, which was terrific. I love All for One. He's going to be a recurring villain on the series because he's going to, you know, he's in prison, so he's still alive, and All Might, I'm sure, is going to pay him some more visits. It's going to be great. I'm actually super excited for All for One, and he's really good. I might even move him up to an S by the time the series ends, but I love it where he is right now. So that's where that's going to be. I got to stop yawning. That is Fuhrer Bradley from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. I know the character, and I know exactly what they do, but the names don't quite come to me. Fuhrer Bradley from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood is a C. One reason, he's not the main villain of the series. Two, actually. One reason he's not the main villain of the series. I'll talk about it a little bit more as I go. But what I did like about him was the mystery. We just thought he didn't have an eye. We didn't think that he was a homunculus, and thus he had that marking. I forgot what the marking was called. I don't know if they called it anything, but all the homunculi had markings, and he had one right there under his eye. And we didn't think that was a thing, but that actually was. And then when he takes that off, he can see really well out of that eye when he takes the eye patch off. He was good. I enjoyed him, but and I love that mystery. But he wasn't the main villain, and we didn't really get a huge payoff moment like we did with a villain like Father, or even a villain like Lust, where Mustang literally burned her to shreds. So things like that. Lucci from One Piece. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am at like episode 250 something, or maybe it's 350 something. They're at the Enies Lobby arc, okay? So the Enies Lobby arc, what happens is obviously Luffy is going to fight Lucci. I think he might. And if he doesn't, he doesn't. Whatever. Lucci has been a really good villain so far. He looks super powerful. I have not seen enough of Lucci yet. I will give you that. But honestly, because I just really like him so far, I'm going to give him an A. Now, if you ask me about a villain I already know, like Crocodile, I give him an S immediately. But Lucci will get an A for now. And when I finish this lobby, you can follow me on Twitter at AnimeAnalysisYT. Almost forgot what it was. And I'll let you know, because I've been commenting here and there on different episodes I watch. They put Father in twice as well, unless that's supposed to be Hohenheim, who isn't a villain, so it doesn't matter. They put Father in there twice. Pain is an A. Not as good as Madara, in my opinion. I would argue even not as good as Obito. Very well written, very powerful, but the fact that Naruto can take out 6 of you doesn't make sense to me. So Pain's going to be an A, because I don't think Pain was as strong as he should have been, you know? Like, obviously we all know that Naruto is stronger than Jiraiya, right? But the fact that Jiraiya could only get 1 when Naruto got 6 made no sense. You know? It really didn't. Like, we know Naruto was a little bit stronger than Jiraiya when he got Sage Jutsu, but Jiraiya summoned the 2 sages, which is something that Naruto couldn't do, right? So technically Jiraiya should have been more powerful at that point. Now, the difference is that Jiraiya taught Naruto how to defeat them, but still, Jiraiya could only get 1, and Naruto got all of them, so it's that craziness involved there. Pain was well written. Pain was well done. I really liked him. He's not an S. I think it takes a lot to become an S villain, in my opinion. That's what I have to say. Dude, they put Father in there 3 times. Look at this. So I've got Father. Where did I put Father originally? Did I never put him in? So I saw this one before, and then I was like, oh, they put Father in there twice. I got screwed up. Never mind. We're good. Envy from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Or just Full Metal Alchemist, but I only saw Brotherhood because I'm not going to put myself through the other one. Although I am reading the manga, and I've noticed a lot of differences. Envy was good. Envy was pretty good. I liked Envy, but I think I would put Envy as a D. Because Envy, unlike all the other villains, there was no backstory or any craziness like that. You don't need backstory with villains. What you do need is you just need some explanation. You also need, you know, some cool stuff too. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Fuhrer Bradley was really cool. He gets a C. It's a C for cool, right? I'm gonna put Envy at a D. That's where Envy goes. Simple as that. So now we get to Father from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. And Father was a great villain. And we did get that big payoff moment like we wanted. We got everything we asked for. But he's still going to get an A and not an S. In order to get an S, you have to wow me. You have to make my jaw drop. And I think a lot of the things that Father did was predictable. And I think, honestly, that last episode of Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, which was incredible, kind of lacked with his character. I found that he was killed a lot easier than you maybe would have expected. Let's get this one out of the way. Annie from Attack on Titan is a D. I'm having trouble. It's a D. No, it's a D. Listen, Annie was one of those characters that was introduced early on, and I expected immediately villain. Then there was this whole situation with the female Titan, and this is one of those things where I was like, well, if Eren can turn into a Titan, then clearly someone else can. And it was really easy to put 2 and 2 together. I think everybody could argue the same thing, right? So I really wish they put Rhina in there instead. I think Rhina's way better than Annie, or like they could have put the Beast Titan in there. I would have been fine with that. But yeah, Annie is not that great, honestly. So she's gonna get a D. And last but not least, the last one on this list that I know of is Esdeath from Akame ga Kill. So Esdeath sucks. No better way to say it. Akame versus Esdeath was a very good fight. I enjoyed. Otherwise, Esdeath was just annoying. Wasn't a fan. I think somebody else has to get F on this list to make me feel better. I think Esdeath probably deserves a D still, because Esdeath deserves a C. All right, because like I said, the Akame versus Esdeath, in my opinion, was a really, really good fight. So I'll give Esdeath a C. I think that works. And a lot of people are still speculating maybe she's still alive. We'll see. I mean, I don't know if we're going to be getting a continuation of what happened at the end of Season 1. I know for sure that Akame ga Kill 0, there's a manga that's called that, which is a prequel about Akame's past. I made a video about it, actually. They might possibly do an anime on that, though. So this is my list. This is it. I'm going to make my screen a little bit bigger so you guys can see better. I should have started with doing this, but you take a look at this. I'm gonna turn my webcam off too so you can see good. So this is our list. Our S tiers are Madara, Uchiha, Hisoka, and Miriam. Our A tier, Orochimaru, Estarossa, All for One, Lucci, Pain, and Father. Our B tier, Tomura Shigaraki, Hendrickson, Hero Killer Stain, and Isabella. Our C tier, Chrollo, Akashi Sejiro, Illumi, Fuhrer Bradley, Esdeath. Our D tier, Zareth, Envy, Annie, and our F tier, Team Rocket. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and expect more of these soon. I want to make a couple more. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you next time.